Hi, family. How you guys doing today? As always, it's us, just people. As always, just here with a new one, another one for you guys, and another one. And we just want to give you guys something else to think about that we've been thinking about between the two of us. And as you guys also know, we are in the beginning stages, just getting everything ready and going. If you somehow get to this video and see us, please subscribe, like, and comment down there, right down there. Like as well, helps us a lot. So today, Shadia and I were thinking about this juicy, it's so juicy that I can't even pronounce it, juicy subject. We were actually, I brought up feminism to her, and after thinking about it, it's too much of a broad subject. And we think that we're going to be tackling that very soon. But for this one, we're just going to take a little piece of feminism ish. It's, and just kind of talk about it a little bit. But enough of me talking. I don't know if Shadia wants to go in and give us an introduction as well, and then maybe also jump in right away. But I just wanted to say, we are free thinkers. We are lovers. We're not here to hate on anybody. We are not here to just love on anybody. We are here out of love, right? We don't discriminate. We are just people talking about our own opinions. And for you guys that may have never heard a different angle on different subjects, it's always good to see that there are other people out there that think differently than yourself and kind of see how they think. And for those of you, as I always say, that think like us, can then stand back and say, hey, I am not alone. There are other people out there that think just like me. So you don't feel like you are the target. So with that said, with no further ado, Shadia.
Thank you. Thank you, Mackenzie. And hello, everybody. Just as Mackenzie said, I'm going to say it as well. Welcome to Just People. Make sure that during the course of viewing this, you subscribe, you like this video, you comment, and you share. If you feel so inclined to do so, it would be very beneficial to us as we grow our platform for sharing our thoughts, sharing our energy, sharing our feelings, and learning from each other, and just overall being open and having open conversations. So definitely just remember to show your support however you can do that. We would appreciate it so much. So yeah, as Mackenzie mentioned, we definitely have a wide variety of topics to cover. And since we're still just kind of in the beginning stages, we're going to be doing, stuff that we can kind of, touch on. And ultimately, we're going to build up to some of those more in-depth topics that may take a little longer. So yeah, I actually prefer when you introduce the topic because your introductions are so good, Mackenzie. So I'm gonna pass it back. Thank you for opening it up and welcoming me. I'm here, and I got a couple notes already jotted that I want to touch on, and I didn't want to forget, so I put them on my notepad.
Okay. Thank you. So yes, I was thinking about that, and I wanted to kind of give the title. So the title today is Why Are Men Not Trying Any Longer in Today's relationship, just life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I kind of want Shadia to start us on this one.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a view of the man, and as having the view of the man, I felt like it would be a little more beneficial to go at the end. But if you want me to have a little bit of something to put in the beginning, I can. It's not a problem. I can go ahead and you know what? Let me go ahead and kind of
Okay.
drop a couple things. So what we've seen with the landscape today when it comes to the dating landscape and relationships and everything else, we are seeing that less and less couples are actually staying together or actually forming just in general, right? More and more people, two people, when they come together, they are now asking for less titles. They are asking to not be called boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, or anything like that. And sometimes they just want to say we are friends, but they end up, doing everything that a married couple would do, right? Having sex, going out together, courting each other, doing all kinds of different things, but without titles, without expectations, without anything attached to it. And what ends up happening with that is that because of it, relationships are not solid anymore, right? You have two camps, two different feelings. And that's why I was talking about a little bit of feminism. Feminism came in empowering the woman, especially in the I would say in the modern world. um, you've seen a push for feminism, women's rights, and so on and so forth. And the the picture that the man has been painted, with is a picture of a man who is basically against the woman, right? And therefore the woman needs to be freed from him. And you have different camps, different ideas, but I'm gonna kind of throw it back to you. That was kind of like a broad introduction, and then we're gonna hit that question full on now with Shadia, and I'll come back in, and then if she wants to come back in, I mean, we are just two people talking.
Okay, thank you. So I jot down some of the things you were saying so I can kind of flow with that too. And one of the big topics that you said at the very beginning was the longevity of these relationships. They are not lasting anymore. And that can go so many ways. So I'm going to try my very best to stay on the topic of why men are not trying any longer, and how it kind of flows with the longevity. One of the things I know for more modern thinkers is that, and I consider myself a modern thinker, a free thinker in many ways. And then in other ways, I also have some, more traditional values and thoughts. But for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to dive into the more modern thought process regarding the longevity of relationships. So I just want to touch on the fact that we have like our parents and our grandparents and so forth that were together their whole lives, like early 20s until death, right? And then you find out later that, Granny was miserable for like 60 of those years. Pop was doing this and doing that, and they went their separate ways and came back together. And you find out the real inner workings of how they made it that long. And with the idea of modern thinking, it's like we now have gotten to a point where we're saying we're breaking generational patterns and we're doing things differently than the people before us. And so value is no longer placed on the longevity of the relationship, but the healthiness of it. So now if you're in a relationship that's long lasting and it's miserable, it's not a healthy relationship. Whereas if you're in a healthy relationship, you know what I mean, and you happen to also last long, then that's obviously a winning combination. But somehow, you know, finding that balance of longevity and healthiness is not always easily attained. So I want to talk on that real quick, just because the classical views and values of marriage are longevity. But when you think about personal values, is it more valuable to me to be with somebody for 30 years unhappily, or is it more valuable to me for me to kind of do it on my own, but be, you know, happy and feel good and not like I've settled or compromised, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest points I wanted to bring up during this particular conversation, though, was something that everybody, I think a lot of people know about it, is the Willie Lynch talk, where he comes into the town and he's telling them basically how to train the Black people, how to train their slaves to be what they want them to be and need them to be. And one of the greatest parts of that was how he said to breed, it's like you're breeding animals, you're breeding the men and the women, and then they're pulling the men away from the women. So now the women are left to raise these children on their own. And so because they've already broken the women in, the women are raising their children to be under this understanding that the white man is in charge of me. I have to obey him. I have to respect him. I can't run away. This is my life. I got to work hard, so forth and so on. So they're raising these men to be fearful, and they're raising these men to be weak, mentally weak, but physically strong, because the idea is that they're going to work them. So you got to be physically strong, but in your mind, you are a slave. And that's exactly where they want you to be. And they did this to our men as a part of what they call the training, or trying to breed them or harness them into slavery. So it's a long-standing issue of how men are not trying. From that time, even before that time, they were taught not to try. They were taught just to be strong, physically strong, not mentally strong. So we have so many men that are like trained that, you know, you can't have feelings, you can't have your own thoughts, just be strong, just go out and work. And that's all you're doing, you know. So I just want to touch on the Willie Lynch letter. That was one of my topics that I had jotted down, because that is majorly influential in the way, and I'm going to speak from the Black perspective because I am Black, and because the men in my family are Black, and the men closest to me are Black. So I can speak from that perspective. So with the Willie Lynch letter, that's very pertinent to Black men. And so with that, we can see that they were shattered early on in their minds to not step up to the plate. It's not your job to step up to the plate because the white man got you covered. It's his job to take care of you guys. It's just your job to work. So yeah, it's a long-standing mental block that came long before any of the other points I was going to mention after this.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought about that. That's a very good point that you're raising, of how slavery has shaped our relationships today when it comes to the Black community. Yeah, the impact is, you know, you're feeling that impact through generations, right? Because after a long period of time, people start changing the way they react, act, and think about, or what they believe in about something, you know. And that is so good. Now, I wanted to ask you a question, but continue. I will come to that question.
Okay. So kind of jumping ahead from slavery times in the 1800s and 1900s, when that Willie Lynch letter first became, known or discussed. Further ahead, let's talk about when you and I were younger, right? We're somewhat in the same age range. So when you and I were younger, there were a lot of songs coming out at that time, like in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, about women being independent, right? You got the Destiny's Child song, Independent Women. You got the song by Neo, I Love Her Because She Got Her Own. And so all of these different songs and stuff were coming out, and the media was really pushing that independent woman, that I don't need no man, that I got it. They were really pushing that. And it was like, women were eating it up, just eating it up. You know what I mean? And also in that process, they were pushing men away. I don't need you. I got my own. I don't need you. I can take care of this. I'm good. I'm independent. I'm this, I'm that. And so it got to a point that it was like, that's what I'm saying to the topic, I guess, why men aren't trying anymore, because they were basically told, don't try, because I don't need you. If I want you, I'll call you, but I don't need you. You know what I mean? I got this. So what am I try for? And also, and I don't mean this in a sexist way, but I think a lot of times, in most situations, men, I don't want to say men, let me say people try to take the path of least resistance. Okay, so if you
let yourself go.
I don't want it to be sounding sexy.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so like people would take the path of least resistance, right? So you got this woman like, I'm independent, I got this. As a man, he's gonna be like, oh, fine, I don't have to buy you this and take you to do that and do that. You got it? Cool. Have at it, sis. Like, he's not about to challenge it. It makes it easier for him. You know what I mean? And that's cool. In a sense, and I'm talking about financially, it makes it easier. Okay, I don't have to buy everything for you. I don't have to do everything for you. I don't have to pay for everything because you're independent. You got it too. That's cool. But then when you think about it in the long term, that's not all that a man is good for. Let's go back to the Willie Lynch. He's not just good there for what he can provide as far as physically. Oh, I got to give you that money. There's a certain balance that the sexes have with one another. So, okay, you don't need me to provide for you financially, but you may need that companionship. You may need that emotional connection. You may need that physical connection that I also can offer you, that spiritual connection, that guidance, that leadership that I may be able to offer you. Because historically, men have been the leaders, right? In families, in the familial setup. The man is the head of the household. The man takes care of business. The man is the protector of the family and so forth. So yeah, you may be independent financially, but ma'am, you're going, every day, you're going home and you're by yourself and you crave a certain level of compatibility and companionship. But this part of you that's like, oh, I'm an independent woman, is rejecting that. So it's almost like you're going against your nature. And then it's the man, that's left like, okay, well, she don't need me. What do I do now? And then they go out and they just have random, jump off relationships that don't really last because the substance of the relationship is no longer required. So yeah, I wanted to touch on the media influence because it was so heavily embraced and it was so heavily pushed. Like, you don't need him, you don't need him. And then the men are like, we love that, we love her because she don't need us. You know what I mean? And I think some of that ties into, and I'm not going to go into feminism, right? I'm just going to touch on it real quick. I think a lot of that ties into misunderstanding feminism and misunderstanding what feminism is and how it works. Because feminism does not mean we don't need men or want men. It just means that women are trying to kind of, be treated as equals in the sense that for a job that you're doing and then I'm doing it and I'm getting paid less, that's a problem. You know what I mean? That's not fair. But it also is not, it doesn't mean like men are no longer needed. It literally is just standing up for the rights of women. And it's the same thing as like people saying that because you're pro-Black, you're anti-white. No, because I'm feminist does not mean I'm anti-men. It just means I stand up for the rights of women, and I realize they are underserved. And I want to help them fight for their rights. Same concept.
That's right.
So yeah.
I mean, a question for you. So, do you believe that a man can be a feminist as well?
Yes, of course.
Yes. With your premise, with what you just said, that makes it so that men as well as women can be feminists, right? Believing in the rights of women, believing in the treatment, the proper treatment, the fair treatment of women, makes a person, just in general, a feminist. And that that thought process, or that image that, oh, feminism is, how can I not need you? How can I not need a man or want a man? It's completely false, right? Because, you know, when we look at it, really, feminism is how can we help each other? Just like you said, because I'm pro-Black, it doesn't mean that I am anti-white. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, I'm gonna bring one thing up. At one point, we had the Black Lives Matter movement. And when we had that movement, we still have that movement right now, but as that movement was growing, you ended up having the flip side, right? Like when they were saying all lives matter and Black Lives Matter, right? Some people try to twist it, you know, spin it and say, when you say that it is Black Lives Matter, it means that no other life matter.
Right.
When that was not the point, right? Please continue. Sorry for interrupting.
That's a great
you.
point. They misinterpret it, and I believe that's where the whole why men are not trying any longer comes in. It's the misinterpretation of what feminism is. So women want equal rights as far as different, you know, areas in life, but it doesn't mean they don't need men. It doesn't mean they don't want men. It means that perhaps societally, you know, the majority is leaning towards independence, and so they want to fit into that, or whatever the case may be. Yes. I keep wanting to go like a little bit off, and I don't, so I got to stay focused. So, but what I want to touch on as far as men not trying any longer, which I said before, is that them being pushed away, for them is like, okay, you don't need me, cool. I'm gonna go over here and do it. I'm gonna go over here because you don't need me over there. So when they get into these situations where a woman who's, let's say she's trying to straddle the fence, you know, it's like, I'm independent, but I also want a man. It gets to a point where they bump heads, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, especially because women, we can have a little bit of a petty streak sometimes too, right? So then a woman throws in her face what she's doing and how you're falling short and all of these things. And a man you can't do that with a man. You can't talk him down. You have to, there's a certain way to deal with a man, right? Okay, and I've learned these things over the years as far as harnessing my feminine energy and utilizing my femininity to bring out the best in a man. So if you speak down to him, that's gonna, you know, resonate with him, and he's going to pull away. He's gonna stop trying. He's gonna stop putting forth any effort whatsoever. He's gonna stop doing absolutely anything other than, go ahead. You look like you're ready to say it. Go ahead.
Let me just drop one little thing is that it's not just men. It's the same for women, right? It's the same for kids, right? If you are speaking in a negative way towards someone, you know, regardless of what they're doing, right? They might have done something that was not proper, right? But regardless of what they're doing, you come at them from a negative angle, you only will get back negativity, right? Because we are a reflection of our own selves, right? So like you're saying, you have to figure out how you have to see how you can speak into this person's life to allow them to correct whatever it is that they're doing, because we can change. We're not all set to be a certain way. So if you know that people can change, therefore use whatever means you can use to nurture someone and to empower that person to change. But go ahead, sorry. Oh, have we lost Shadia? Shadia, are you still with us? Let me see if we can get her back real fast here. Let's see. Let me do something real fast. I think we have lost. Oh, there she is.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes,
Okay,
we lost you
I don't
for a
know what
second.
happened. I think my connection went out briefly. I'm so sorry.
Not a
Okay.
problem. I was like, oh, we lost you, Shadia. What's going on? All right, cool.
It started chopping up while you were talking.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so you passed it back. You passed it back to me.
Yes.
Okay,
Just
sorry. That internet. That's the only unreliable part. I can foolproof everything around me except that. I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, like you said, like I said, that is true. That whatever you speak into someone, you're gonna get that out of them. So I was only saying men because of the topic we have today, but that's definitely true of anyone. Because if someone continues to speak down on me, I am gonna look in the mirror and see what they say I am. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely a part of it. And I think when it comes to relationship dynamics, and only because we're talking about men today, I'm using this male-female dynamic. So obviously there are definitely different relational dynamics. There's male, there's female, there's trans male, trans female, and so forth. There's so many different types, non-binary, so many different types of dynamics. But in this instance, let's talk about why men are not trying any longer. I think the relationship dynamics are also not being clearly established. So when you're talking about getting into a relationship with someone, or the role that each one of them is going to play, there's the idea that you play off each other, you bounce off of each other. So I can't be the breadwinner and take care of the house if I also have a partner here helping me. So one of us has, I mean, you can if you want, but we can both be breadwinners and both take care of the house. But you don't want to take it all on for yourself when you have a balance. Because now a new popular trend is like stay-at-home dads, right? So it's not like the man goes out of work and the woman stays home. Whatever dynamic works for you, but establish that and stick to that and respect each other's roles as vital. You leaving the house every day for 8 hours does not mean it's any less of a duty for me to stay home for 8 hours a day and take care of that. We have to respect each other's roles, and we have to encourage each other in those roles. And I think we could go into that a little more when we talk about like relationships and so forth. But yeah, definitely just as far as the men not trying anymore, I think it has a lot to do with societal standards, societal influences that have penetrated the minds of the recipients to no longer step up to the plate, in a nutshell.
Thank you. So because of the time constraint that we have, we always try to keep our video short. I'm just gonna apologize to you guys. I won't go too deep because I think Shadia has done a wonderful job. She's touched on so many different things that, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just dropping nuggets.
Thank you.
No, I just want to let you guys know, new viewers, these are just the beginning, and we are gonna do longer ones. So stay tuned, please stay tuned, because these conversations are about to get better and better and deeper and more detailed. But my view on it, seconding Shadia here, is, I agree with everything. You have the traditional roles. You have gender roles that we got to look at, see why people reacted a certain way, right? You have also history, right? Slavery. You have, I'm African, so there's a different dynamic in my family, right? So we didn't go. My ancestry didn't go through slavery, so it's also, you got to look at the history of different places. You also have the feminist movement that impacted this, right? Impacted the fact that men are not uh, trying anymore, right? You also have media. Media has played an incredible role to influence the way we feel today, the way we act, and the way we interact with one another, and how our beliefs are, right? Shaped our beliefs. You have technology. Technology would be like tampons, right? Being able to have that in order for you to go work, for the woman to go work. You have also the government, right, that came into play, and the government played a very big role where it when you have like marriages and so on and so forth, and there's divorces and all those different things, the money for the kids, who receives the kids, where I'm from, my culture dictates that it's my father's responsibility. He's got to stand as a man to take over his kids. If he was to part ways with his wife, it's the man's job to continue providing for those kids, not the government telling us like this is the way we're gonna do it. Because the government, the way the government did this, there weren't any precedent, right? They just came up with this, without us really knowing and saying, oh, it's the woman that takes the kids. But that's not what we're talking about. Those different things, all of those things, and I'm probably forgetting some other things, played a role. Now today, because of the impact that it has had on, I would say the impact of all of this is, I would say that women have been impacted more when it comes to this than men. The man is in nature wanting to be a leader. He is in nature, the leader of his family. He's like the guy, the person that's gonna get the man ready. He is the protector of the family. So with those types of innate views and feelings and just wiring, when that is taken away from him, it does change things for him, right? Because now there's a sense of I'm not needed. I'm not needed to lead. As a spiritual leader, usually in the past, we've seen that the man was a spiritual leader. It was a leader at home, to educate the kids. It was the leader to go get food, and so on and so forth. And it was the protector. Now, fast forward in today's world, the woman comes in, and with the media and so on and so forth, spinning things as if, all men are bad. Now, women feel some way that, okay, media is telling me this, the movement is telling me this. Like you said yourself, peer pressure is also part of this, right? All my friends want to become engineers and everything else, or my parents, my mom my mom is telling me that I cannot learn how to cook. I dated a girl that basically her sister was talking about it, and that kind of shocked me, right? Because my culture is different. The woman in my culture believe differently than the woman here. But the one thing she was saying, the one day when I called her, she was at her sister's, and her sister was telling her daughter that, oh, why are you trying to learn how to cook? Why are you cooking? You're not here to cook. You're not here to learn how to cook. Go read your books, do your homework. Like, and I've seen a debate where there was a famous psychologist. I forget his name. I'll get his name for the next conversations that we have. And there was a woman on that debate, and this woman says, well, there isn't enough, there aren't enough engineers, women engineers. There aren't enough women coders. There aren't enough this. So me, when I was raising my kid, her, right? When I was raising my kids, I bought only Legos, no Barbies, none of those kinds of things for her. I pushed her because I feel like we don't push our daughters to do that. And the one thing that he said, and I'm gonna say something else, but the one thing he said, well, you are making the decision for your daughter. You are making a decision for your daughter. That's one. Two, being a nurse is as important as a chemist. Being a nurse is as important as a coder or an engineer or an architect. Now, if all of us go do that, who's gonna be the nurse?
Exactly.
That was the things that he said to her. And for me, it's like, why do you all of a sudden take this position of saying to you, of thinking that, oh, my kids are being forced into something? No, you want to raise your kids to put them in the best place possible for them to do what they love and make money out of what they love, right?
Exactly.
The educational system is also another problem that we need to tackle on this platform, where they teach you to be a sheep. They don't teach you to build companies, to make money for your own, and so on and so forth. They teach you how to follow the herd, how to be part of the herd, right? The herd immunity. So, but I'm gonna send her back into this question. I think that because of this push of women wanting to take that leadership role, and it's not that women weren't leaders. Women were leading in a different way. Okay.
Yes.
But women are taking all of the leadership roles of the family, basically, and or of the relationship, and the man is left with almost nothing, unless he's making a lot of money. If he's not making a lot of money or more money, then that woman that is dating, that is in a relationship with, that is married to, or whatever, he's not seen as, he's not wanted, and he's not nurtured, he's not catered to, and in turn, the woman is expecting the same things of the past.
Mm-hmm.
She's not saying, okay, I'm gonna take all these new things that used to be yours, and then I'm gonna, also start acting like you were acting. No, she's just taking what she wants, not everything. Now she wants the doors to be open for her, right? Even though she's acting on reacting. I know she's been wired now by society for all those different reasons, but she is not. She wants that. She wants the doors to be open for her. She wants the men to pay for the meal. Let's go out. Let's go out. And we go out. You have more money, and you have a problem you have a problem with the guy that is not making enough money or not making more money than you, but you are still expecting him to pay. You are still expecting him to call. You are still expecting him to be the one to make all of the first moves. When you just want to rip all of the benefits. So this has pushed men in a corner, and now that men are into this corner, I think men have reacted, myself included, in a way where it's like, okay, how if I try to be, the guy that, I envision myself to be, I'm gonna have these different reactions, this different, pushback. Why should you be the one to do this? Why don't you, there's gonna be this why all the time. You think I'm gonna cook for you? You're gonna go in there, and even though we both work, right, and so on and so forth. So that ends up putting a man in a place where, okay, I don't know what to do, and because I don't know what to do anymore, I'm just not gonna do anything. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Don't take me wrong, guys. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I think that a man should still step up to the plate, as much as he can. And I think, like Shadia said, communication and positive mindset, not being framed by society, but being framed by your heart, by the goodness that's inside of you, being framed by what your elders have, been able to do, being able to have the patience. My family, my parents, and other parents, and a lot of you guys I've heard on social media say, how is it that our parents or grandparents have stayed together until the end, and we can't? There isn't any more that patience on either side. These people, when they stayed together, they had patience on both sides. A lot of time, what we see is the way it's framed as, oh, the woman is the one that had the most patience. She's the one that had the patience and did everything for him, and he like everything was just rosy for grandpa or great grandpa. Like he didn't have to go through some of the things or take in some of the things that she had. No, she got sick. He had to be there for her. She had moments of womanhood. He had to go through those moments. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some women have it more severe, because I've dated some women that have had it more severe, and some have more control over it. But this man had to go through a lot more than just that, and stayed with her, and she had to go through things. We are not the same. And even when we are the same, we're still not going to like ourselves. When you see yourself in the mirror every day, and it's reacting the same way that you're reacting, you're not gonna like it. So because of it, you're not always gonna like it. So because of it, you need to have that understanding going into it. But the understanding that we have today is it's a me generation where it's all about me. If you don't respect me, he doesn't respect me. Dad does not respect me. So you got to have that patience and that softness of heart. But I want to thank you guys. We didn't speak of any solutions. The one solution was the patience and so on and so forth. But we will come back to this, since we're just trying to have it not too long. Thank you guys for being with us again. Do not forget, do not forget, do not forget, comment, let us know if you want to be on here to discuss this subject. Please let us know, comment, give us suggestions, let us know what we can do better, what you guys want to see. If you want to be a guest, let us know. Also, there's a thumb up right there. Please click on that. That helps us so much. And also subscribe so that when we drop a video, you're first to see this video, and you can keep up with us and see what we're doing. There's a lot of things that we're going to be doing in the future. A lot of different, the podcast will be coming up, and coaching will be coming up, and so on and so forth. So please subscribe so that you stay on top of different news that we're going to put out. And love, as always. We are speaking out of love. There's no hate, there's no discrimination. We put everybody, these are just people talking about our own experiences and our own opinions. And that is why we encourage you to comment so that we can hear from you as well. That is why we encourage you to comment so that you can be on here with us, and you can challenge us and we can challenge you and just learn and grow together. Thank you so much. I'm going to let Shadia give us a few words as well.
Okay. Well, you made so many good points. And if we weren't trying to wrap it up, I would have had some more to say, because you made some really, really good points. Really good. So obviously I jotted them down for a future conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thanks for letting me share mine. I'm glad we were able to come together and have this open talk about this taboo topic, you know what I mean? Because people are avoiding stuff like this now.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to whatever we talk about next. And like Mackenzie said, remember, your support is what we need, and it keeps us thriving, it keeps us going, it keeps us growing, and it gives us the ability to continue to put what we're going to be putting out to you guys. Yes. So remember to subscribe, remember to like, remember to comment. Any comments, anything you need to say, just mention it to us. And then, like Mackenzie also said, get those notifications. You can turn on notifications so you know as soon as we post. You can be first in line. You can get that request in. You can say what you need to say or whatever it is. So just remember that your support counts. It's all free. It is free to support us. It is free to subscribe. It's free to comment, and it's free to like. All you need to do is click a button. So by all means, do so. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to share my thoughts. It's always a wonderful feeling to be able to get it out and to hear other thoughts and perspectives. So thanks so much. And until next time.
Until next time, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye. Peace.